Hey, how y'all doing out there in YouTube land? This Stiletto coming at you from the Wild Wild West. Well, we got another package from Midway. Y'all can guess what it is. Another package from Midway. Another package from Midway. Let me get out my 8020S. Let's find out what it is. OKC, Ontario Knife Company. Got the other ones I was telling you guys about. These OKCs are such a reasonable price, it's hard to resist them. I think this is probably one of the best bangs for your buck for camp style knives. Okay, first one up, what we got? Kukri, my first Kukri, people. This is gonna be my first Kukri. And this one must be the SP5. Yep, SP5 Survival Bowie. SP5 Survival Bowie. All right, so I got another Bowie, huh? I bought this one because I thought it'd be one that I can carry on, wear on my belt. Because it's supposed to be a lot lighter. Whoa, that feels good. This actually feels really good in hand, people. Guess how much this one was? What? I can't hear you. What'd you say? Okay, you give up? Okay. $43, people. It was $43. Well, it's like thick, and then gets a little bit thinner here, then it thickens back up here, then thins down here. Nice, strong looking tip. This one's a 1095. These are both 1095. The only one that I got that's not 1095 is the SP53. That one's a 5160. This feels really nice in hand, people. First time I've ever had a real Kukri. My first Kukri. I've always been tempted to get one of the cold steel ones, but I didn't want to spend as much money as they were asking for them. But this one, you can't beat this with 43 bucks. Come on now. See what the sheath looks like. Well, you know, just standard OKC sheath. You know, that's what can you expect for 43 bucks. Doesn't have a plastic liner or anything in it. I might get a different sheath for this one. Oh, it fits really nice though. Look how nice that fits. Mates right up to the handle. But then again, you know why though? Because I don't know if I would carry this one. You know, the only ones I really like to get sheaths for are the ones I plan on carrying on my hip. For things I don't carry on my hip, you know, they're just going to be carried in a backpack or something like that. But you know, I think I do want another sheath though, because I would like to have the tie downs and stuff so I can tie it down to the backpack. I don't know, I'll think about it. Ontario Knife, OKC, 1889, Ontario Knife Company. Kukri sheath made in China. The sheath is made in China. The knife is made in United States, but the sheath is made in China, just like all the other ones. Well, that comes out really easy once you undo that snap. I'm digging it. I like that. Sheath works really well with it. I think I just want a little bit tougher, you know, a little bit stronger sheath. Let me set this stuff aside. Let's get into this one. This is the one, oh yeah, it's a lot lighter. I think I could carry this one on my hip. That's why I got this one. I'm having a sheath made for this one by just the sheath maker on eBay. The person that made my other sheath for my Becker and my tops. What's it called? The Wild Pig Hunter. I don't have a problem with these sheets. I think these are pretty nice. It's just that for a sheet that I want to carry on my hip, I'd rather have a Kydex sheet. Kydex sheets tend to be my favorite kind. Leather's cool too, but I like Kydex better. More durable. And Kydex sheets don't mess up your blades if you leave your knife in the sheath. A lot of times a leather sheath will make your blade get stained or rot if it's a high carbon steel blade. That's a nice setup, people. That's a nice setup. I'm digging that. I'm digging that. Let's take some measurements and stuff and see how much these weigh. And this one feels really good in hand. Right there's a balance point. This one feels like a fighter. I like the way this one feels. It's got a lanyard hole. They all have lanyard holes. Creighton rubber handles, overmolded handles. The blade stock goes all the way through the handle back to here, and then it's held on by this ring right here. I think they glue them and use the ring. This feels really nice in hand. This feels like a fighting knife. This one feels like one that you could use as a fighting knife. It's got nice, strong blade stock. This wedge is looks like it'd almost be sharpened. I imagine they don't like to sharpen the wedges because that makes it illegal in a lot of places. If you have a double-edged knife, it limits the places that you can sell it to. I totally understand why they do that. But I think you could sharpen this wedge if you wanted to. In California, we're not allowed to have double-edged knives, and I plan on carrying this one in the outdoors, so I'm going to leave it just like that. I love this knife, people. I think I like this one the best. The SP5. Now, it probably wouldn't be as good as a chopper, though, as like the other ones I have, the heavier ones. But this one feels like one I can carry. Doesn't feel too heavy. All right, let's do some measurements and things. Let's see how much these things weigh. Length of the blade. Right about 10 inches. Nice. Handle 5 inches. Perfect. Grip area 4.5 inches. Perfect. Oh yeah, I got plenty of grip area in here. I like this one. And this one was like $50. $50 for American made 1095 SP5 survival Bowie. Made in the USA. I love it. I love it. Sure, it doesn't have the best sheath in the world, but actually this sheath nothing's wrong with these sheaths. I've heard people complain about these sheaths, but I don't see nothing wrong with them. I think they're awesome sheaths if you're gonna put on your backpack or something like that, because you can strap it to your backpack. It's all set up for that. Or you can carry it on a belt. But me, myself, when I'm going to carry on my belt, I'd rather have a Kydex sheath. It doesn't have a drainage hole, though. These are nice. It's got 2 retentions. That's a nice setup, though. For $50, come on now. You can't expect too much more than this for $50, especially coming from a American knife maker. That's really nice. This is a nice knife, people. I like it. I'm digging it. I can't wait to get out and try these out. We'll have to do it next weekend. We'll have to do it on next weekend. I'm going to set the sheath aside. Set the sheath aside for this one, too. This sheath, it's not all that much to this sheath, though. This one, I would recommend maybe getting a kayak sheath, because it's got like a, I don't know if you can see the inside, it's like plastic. But I don't know if that would stop a blade from cutting through it, the way it's stitched and stuff. I don't know, you know, if you're just going to put it in your backpack, I guess it'd be perfectly fine. But I want to be able to attach it to a backpack, though. This one is pretty heavy. This one's getting back into the heavy blades again. Let's set that aside, too. Show you guys up the size of this one. Well, this has got a long blade. Looks like 11.5 inches. 11.5 inches, handle, 5 inches, and about 4.5 inches for the grip area. Total length is 16.5 inches. Did I do total length on this one? 15 inches. Let's see what the weights are. I'm touching them. I was wondering why the scale was a little bit off. Okay, there we go. We'll do the heavy one first. 1 pound, 3.4 ounces. Let's see what it is with the sheet. The sheet doesn't weigh that hardly anything at all. I doubt sheet's gonna make a big difference. I like the way it fits into the sheet, though. 1 pound, 6.1 ounces with the sheath. It comes out of the sheath really nice, too. This one with the sheath. £1 pound, 5.0 ounces. Without the sheath, 14.7. Right on. That's what I was sort of expecting. I think I heard on the internet somebody said it was 14 ounces. That's 14.7. That's awesome. About 14.5 ounces. Oh, awesome. All right. Now we got all of them. Now we got them all together. Let's pull out the others. We've already weighed these previously. Now I got all the big ones I wanted. I'm gonna try them all out the same day. Take them out. I go fishing. Next time I go fishing, get down on the levee, do some wood splitting. Boy, this one's heavy. This is the heaviest one right here. This one feels like a real hatchet. This one, let me compare the weights again. We'll line them up. Lightest one to the heaviest one. Okay, this one was £1 pound, 3.4 ounces. 1 pound, 3.4 ounces. This one's 14.7 ounces. I love this one, people. I love the weight of that one. This one is 1 pound, 6.1 ounces. So it'd be heavier than this one, right? Yep, 1 pound, 3.4 ounces. And this is the tank. This one feels like I'm picking up a boulder. 1 pound, 6.2 ounces. These are my Ontarios, my SP series Ontarios. This is the heavy one. This one's a hatchet. This one's gonna be the best one for splitting wood. I know that. I can tell you that already. Look at that blade tang. Look at the thickness of that. It's thick all the way to the tip. How often do you see a tip that looks like that? And it's made out of 5160 steel, spring steel, which is a very, very, very tough steel. It rusts easy though, but it's like super tough steel though. Might even be tougher than the 1095. This one has a thick tip too, but compared to this one, it's thin. But actually it's a swedge, so it's reinforced. It's got a reinforced tip. It's awesome. This one's got a thick tip too. It's thicker than the Bowie, but it's nothing like this one. I've never used one of these before. It's going to be a new experience for me with one of those. And this one's got the thinnest tip, but it's actually a reinforced tip because it's got a swedge. How thick are these? Let me see. And each one of these, this one was $50. This one was $43. This one was like $55 or something like that. I think this one was $60 or something. I mean, for right around 200 bucks. I got 4 super bad ASS knives. Knives. These are some serious blades, people. These do not have rat tails. These have tangs that go all the way through the back of the handle, and the thickness remains the same as this, and the width of them is almost the same width of the handle. The handle is just an overmolded Creighton handle. I can see why they don't cost a whole lot though, because they're very simply made. They're pretty simple manufacture to make these. And making a big fixed blade is a lot less expensive than making a pocket knife, because there's you don't have all the different moving parts that have to fit together perfectly and everything. So it doesn't cost as much to make a fixed blade as it does a pocket knife. And I'm talking about good pocket knives too. This one's 6.46 millimeters thick, 6.46. This one is 6.51. Can you guys see that? 6.51 millimeters thick. I'll show you guys this one again. I don't think I showed it to you. I'm not saying 5.1. So it's like 6.5 millimeters thick. Both of them are 6.5 millimeters thick. That's what I just call it. This one is same size, about 6.5 millimeters thick. This one, 6.5 millimeters thick. They're all like the same. They all have like the same blade stock, thickness of blade stock. Yeah, that's the same thickness. It's just that this one's thick all the way through. This one just has more blade. This is bad. This one feels like it could totally take the place of a hatchet. With this, you wouldn't need a hatchet no more. So this could be a. You could use it like a machete. It'd be hard to use this as a machete because it's too heavy. It'd wear you out real quick if you had to swing this for too long. I think it'd wear you out. Me, I'm not a super strong. I'm not Mr. America or Mr. Olympia or anything like that. I'm just an average Joe. And I'm thinking that, for me, it'd be too heavy to be trying to swing this all day long. Now, if you're like a Arnold back in the day, back in the Mr. Olympia days, all steroided out and muscular, it probably wouldn't weigh that much to you. But for me, this feels like a lot of weight. This feels like a lot of weight. This one feels like a lot of weight too, but it's not as bad as this one. This one's the heaviest by far. Feels heavy. And this one feels heavy, but it feels balanced or something. I don't know how to explain it. I think this would be a good chopper too. This could probably take the place of a hatchet also. It just feels like it, with this way that the blade's designed. I've never used one of these, so we'll find out when we get out in the wilderness. We'll find out. We'll do some wood chopping and stuff like that and see which ones are the best for what. And that's $10.95 too, so that's a good, good steal for a camp knife. And this one feels like it'd be a jack of all trades type knife, because I could carry this on my hip. It's not too heavy to carry on your hip. It feels like it'd be a good fighter, a good fighting knife, because it's real lightweight. Well, compared to these, it's lightweight, you know what I mean? And it's got a nice thick blade stock. It's $10.95, so I expect it to be nice and strong and thick. All of them have, well, these two have full flat ground blades. And these two have saber flat ground blades. Got a nice saber with a nice flat. These two right here would be better for splitting wood, for batoning through wood, because with the wedge right here, it's going to help push the wood apart as you try to baton through it. And with that 1/4 inch thick blade stock, yeah, these would be awesome for batoning. I know that from my other outdoors knives from batoning wood with them. These types of knives aren't the best for batoning because the full flat ground blade, it just doesn't work as well as when you got like a saber ground blade, a flat saber ground blade. Absolutely love this knife though. I think this might be my favorite one. You know how many people, I like knives that could be fighting knives. Well, let's compare them to my other wood crafting knives. That's my Becker BK9. The famous SE6. Let's move things around here so we got some space. The person that made this sheath for me, just a sheath maker, is making a sheath for this one. I think I might get together with them and have them make me a sheath for this one too. I know probably in the long run I'll probably get a sheath made for each one. But for right now, I'm not really worried about that, because I think these sheaths are pretty good actually. I like the way that they have the plastic insert, so it won't cut through the nylon. I like that. My SE6 and my SE4. This is the S35VN model. This is the one I would use for food prep because it's a non-coated stainless steel blade. I'm not going to use this one for wood processing. This is going to be like for food prep or cut bait or things like that. Cleaning animals or whatever. This is an awesome knife too. But this one, my baton with it, that's why I learned about the full flat ground blades. It wasn't the best for batoning. It did the job, got the job done, but it just took more effort to do the job because it didn't push the wood apart as you're batoning through it. This one right here, it's not really thick enough to have a really nice wedge, and it's sort of like a high saber ground blade. It did the job. This one's been through like big pieces of wood, big pieces of wood, and hung in there, did the job and everything like that. But I sort of wish that it would have the blade would have been thicker, so it has more of a wedge, and the wedge would start down a little bit lower, like more like middle of the blade. I think it'd be better for batoning wood. This one is going to be the master batoner. I could tell that already. Compared, my experiences with these, I know this one's going to be a really good knife for batoning wood. This is called a bolo. SP53 bolo. It's supposed to have a bolo style blade. This is the Marine Raider Bowie. Marine Raider Bowie. And this is the Kukri. Doesn't have a number on it, just says Kukri. And this is Survival Bowie. I can picture that because this is one that you can carry on your side. It's not too heavy. And you can baton with the full flat ground blade. It just doesn't baton as well as like something like these two. Absolutely love it, people. Absolutely love it. Let's see how sharp it is. You got a little hiccup there. Feels like it needs to be stropped a little bit. Let me strop it a little bit. See if that makes a difference. Oh yeah, it does. That's all I needed was some stropping. It was sharp. Let's try this one out. I'm gonna strop it first because I bet you it's the same way. And for a camp knife, you don't want it to be super sharp like a pocket knife because you want the edge to be a little bit more durable and you don't want the edge to be too delicate. Especially if you're going to be using it for batoning through wood and doing stuff like that. So you want it to be sharp, but it doesn't have to be razor blade sharp. That's what I'm trying to say. Our first kukri, people. Well, you know, I got the cold steel, the folding kukris. But this is a real kukri right here. Okay, that's sharp. Good to go. These are good to go. What else we got? Try this one. Oh yeah. And this one's super thick behind the edge too. I don't know if you guys can see that. And it's still sharp. I think this one's meant to be your hatchet. It's meant to be like a machete / hatchet, big heavy duty bolo knife. I think bolos are famous for being like bolo machetes, you know, like being the thin blade stock. But this one's meant to be doing some serious heavy duty stuff. Absolutely love the SP53. I think it's going to be awesome. I think the SP53 is going to be the best one for the for splitting wood, for batoning through wood. This one looks like it messed up your when you're batoning through wood. If you're hitting it on here all the time, after a while it's going to tear up your baton. If you're doing a big piece of wood, you're going to have to hit it on this edge. Whereas this one, it looks like it's made for that. The SP53. So if you're into wood crafting and using having a knife for batoning and stuff, I would recommend the SP53 over any of these. Because I think the SP53 is going to be the most heavy duty one out of all of them. This one's heavy duty too, but it's just that you got to deal with the swedge, you know, for the Bowie knife. This one would be better for stabbing and piercing because of the type of blade it is. And this one would be good for chopping off people's limbs. No. This would probably, you know, I don't know. You could do probably some gruesome things with this one. And it feels balanced too, though. Even though it's, you know, a fairly heavy knife, it feels balanced. It doesn't feel like it would wear me out. I could swing this more than I can swing this one all day long. This one, I could feel it on my wrist right away. You know, I wouldn't be trying to, you know, do machete stuff with this one. I'd rather just get a real machete. But, you know, if you had to, if you only can carry one blade and had to be able to do everything, this would probably be a good blade. Because you can choke up on it without cutting yourself. I don't know. We'll have to get out there and see. We'll have to get out there and test them out, people. This one's got a big area to choke up on. So does this one. This one's got a big, really big area to choke up on. I've never used one of these in the wild. The Raja, that's the name of the cold steel knives I have. That are folding knives, they're folding kukris, the Rajas. But they're nothing compared to this though. And that 1095 is going to be tough. This one is a fighter. This feels like a fighting knife. It's lighter than this. How much does the BK9 weigh? Move some things out the way so I can weigh stuff. .22 ounces. So it's a little bit heavier. So it's at 18.2 ounces, and this one's 14.7. And it's got a thick. This one's got a thicker blade stock. This one's got a full exposed tang, but it's hollowed out in the middle though. It's been lightened up in the middle. It's not a solid full tang. Whereas this one is I would call it a full tang. It's just over molded. It has an over molded tang. Yeah, I've seen these get broken and stuff, you know, like with Joe X and stuff like that. They're still thick. It looks like they're thick all the way through the handle. This one definitely feels like I can maneuver it better than any of these other ones, except for maybe the SE6, but then you're getting into the smaller knives. This one I carried on my hip. It was easy to carry. Let me see what the difference is in these two. Just out of curiosity, I know this should be a lot lighter. 12.1 ounces. It's only a couple ounces lighter. I mean at 14.7. Round off to like 15 ounces. So it's like a 3-ounce difference. And look how much more knife you get. And they're both full flat ground blades. They're both 1095 HC blades. This one has a Rowan heat treat on it, which is like a super good heat treat. But this one cost, I can't remember, it was over $100. In between, I think $100 and $150 or something, like maybe $120 something or something like that. I can't remember exactly. And this is $50. That's $50, people. And if I was in combat, I'd rather have this one than this one. Because you can't really feel the, you know, it doesn't feel that much heavier than this one. And you got a lot more blade. A lot more reach. Me, I'm one of those kind of people, I'd rather have reach than, you know, try to get too close quarter, have my enemy being too close to me with their blade, because then I can get cut. I'd rather have the reach. I'd rather, you know, that's the reason why they made swords, right? Because nobody wanted to get real next to somebody with a shorter, with another blade or whatever. Because the object of, you know, the object of combat is for you not to get hurt, for you to hurt the other person. This is a really nice knife. I like the grip on it too. It feels, you know, I've heard a couple people say they don't like these grips, but I like Creighton grips. You know, especially for a knife that you're gonna be using for like outdoors use or combat use. Because I'd rather have this than a leather stacked handle. Leather stacked handles look really nice. They're really nostalgic, and they, you know, they got that World War II nostalgic look and stuff like that. But when it comes down to usage, because I used to use one for hunting and fishing, the one that my pops gave to me, the one that I ended up losing when I was a teenager, and the handle would get all bloody and stuff, and It get kind of funky, you know, when you had to clean animals and stuff. Whereas this, you can just wash it off. You're not gonna have stuff getting all soaked into the handle. And it looks like I think they glue these handles, because this looks like it's been glued, and then they put the pin through the top of it to hold the handle on. So it's held on in a couple different ways. This one has a steel guard, a nice thick steel guard. You know, it's got the classic Bowie shape, you know, the Hollywood Bowie shape, no doubt. You know, it looks pretty much like my Western 49 Bowie as far as the shape is concerned, but it's a lot heavier, because my Western W49 Bowie, I think it was like 4.5 millimeters thick, and this one's 6.5 millimeters thick, and the same size, so it's a lot heavier. It's got the classic Hollywood Bowie shape. This is considered a Bowie too, a Beckert Combat Bowie. Does it say on it? K-bar, BK K-bar, Orleans, New York, BK9. All these knives are made in the United States. These are all American-made blades, people. Just about all of my fixed blades are American made. You know, my big fixed blades, should I say. I have some smaller ones. I have like the cold steel ones. I have a couple that are made in Italy. And then I have a lot of combat cold steel fixed blades that are made in Taiwan. And Japan also. I have a couple that are made in Japan too. And one that's made in USA. The original Recon I have, that one's a USA made knife. I think it was made by Camillus, when Camillus was in business still. These are some beautiful blades, people. So these are the ones I tried out last year. All of these. Y'all got to see me try these out last year. And these are the ones I'm going to try out this year. So these are going to get torn up. Well, not torn up, but they'll be like these, you know, with you know, wood sap on them and stuff like that. And I can't wait to try this one though. I think this is going to be awesome for chopping through wood. I think it's going to be an awesome chopper too, because there's just so much weight behind it. It's going to be it'll easily chop through wood, I think. This will be a good one for chopping through wood too. But maybe not as good as being batoning, but I think it'll be an awesome chopper. I've never used one of these, so in the wood crafting and, you know, trying to use it for wood crafting or whatever. This one feels like it could be a fighter too, though. It's not too heavy, because it's really a lot thinner than the Kukris from Nepal. The Nepalese Kukris, they're real thick. They're like 8 millimeters, 9 millimeters thick, and they use those for combat. This probably move a lot faster than one of those. But these are devastating combat knives though, because they're known for chopping off limbs and heads and body parts. It looks pretty sinister too. It feels kind of heavy though for me. You know me, people. I like the lighter ones. This one feels good. This one feels like it's the most combat ready to me. The SP5. So if you're looking for a combat knife out of these, I would pick the SP5. I think it'd be the best for a fighting knife. All right, people. That's about it. That's about it. These are my wood crafting knives. The ones I bought just for wood crafting. I know I have used the Italian Warcraft and my my cold steel field knife with the AK-47 field knife for wood crafting, but I didn't really buy those for wood crafting. I bought those to be like, you know, fighting knives or whatever. But they also work very well as a wood crafting knife too, because especially those two, the the AK-47 field knife, and the I think it's 5.5 inch. I think they're both 5.5 inches or something like that. The old style Warcraft. It's the old style Warcraft, not the new Warcraft. The one both of those have 3V blades, and they're both made in Italy, and they have a nice wedge to them where it splits the wood really nice, and they're not too heavy to carry too. So I would recommend those too if you want a knife that's not too heavy to carry, that you can use it for wood crafting and everything like that. And the AK-47s, I see those on sale all the time for like in between like $120 to $140, and they're 3V blades. And after I did all the chopping and everything I did with mine, they were still sharp. The edge didn't falter or anything, and they actually split wood better than like these, because they had a better swedge before they went to the saber. They're like this, like here's a swedge, and then this part would be the saber. And that's what you want when you're batoning through wood. You want it to be able to split the wood, push the wood apart. Whereas a flat ground is like this, and there's nothing really pushing the wood apart. So you have to really pretty much just baton all the way through the wood, which requires more energy and more work, because it's going to take longer, because it's not going to split the wood for you. It's just like you got to cut through the wood. But something like this can do it too, though. Like I said, it would just take longer and take more effort to do it. This would probably be I don't know if it'd be a great chopper, because it feels kind of light. Whereas like this one, if you want a wood for if you want a blade for processing wood, for splitting wood and batoning through wood and making kindling and all that kind of stuff, I think this is the blade, the SP53. But we're getting, right now it's just all talk. I haven't done it yet. I'm just, telling you what I think that these things can do. And I think this is going to be the hatchet. This is basically like a hatchet. A knife hatchet. And I've heard people call these machetes. They're not machetes. I would not call any of these knives machetes. To me, a machete is supposed to be long, with a thin blade stock, like a 2 millimeter, 2.5 millimeter, 3 millimeter blade stock. And it's supposed to be really long, so you don't have to, bend over too much. You could just walk through the jungle or the bush or whatever and just be chopping stuff up, and have a really good grip, so it doesn't come out your hand. But this, I couldn't do that with it, because this would just wear my arm out. I'd have to get in shape to use this one like that. I had to build up my biceps and my triceps and my wrist muscles. This is a nice knife, though. I can't wait to try this one out, people. I can't wait. It's gonna be fun. Next weekend off. We'll get out there and we'll do it. All right. Peace out. Stiletto. Hope everybody's doing great out there. Peace.